because I understand immigration in terms of the impact it has on America and Europe, and I think it's been a very powerful thing that's affected us negatively in America, and the Palestinians understood it too. They had riots back in the 30s to try to stop this massive Jewish influx that was coming in to Palestine.
Yeah, because they see it going on.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm not like I'm not a white nationalist by any means, but I do think we're doing way too much immigration, way too fast, and it's completely changing the country. Like you said, wasn't it? You said it was like 90% white in what year? Like when you were?
It was almost 90%. Yeah. When I went to LSU in 1968, I graduated there with a history degree, and then later I got my PhD in Europe.
Yeah.
I went to school actually in Ukraine.
No, I want to stay a majority white country. I have nothing against minorities. All my best friends are black, Mexican, all this stuff. But I do think we should stay a majority white country. That's
so my whole life, since I was born in 50, and in fact, almost the entire 20th century, America was almost a 90% white country. And when whites were concerned about the immigration back in the 1924 Immigration Reform Act, when this happened, the people running America didn't say, "Oh, we want to become all white," or we want to increase the white percentage. Of course, the state of Israel, they've been specifically oriented toward increasing the Jewish percentage. Even the ADL, which attacked Tucker Carlson, for opposing the replacement program,
theory, which is obviously true,
and they demanded he be fired. All right, and yet Tucker Carlson did something pretty brave. Is he came out and he showed the ADL papers and the ADL website where they said we have to maintain a Jewish majority in the state and we have to increase that majority.
Yeah, it is so interesting that the same groups that are often, like Mayorkas and these guys, these Jewish organizations that are attacking, they're pushing free, open borders in America, but these same groups want closed borders in Israel. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, the hypocrisy, these are the kind of things that shock me very much. And again, because I've always had a good attitude toward Jews. I read the Old Testament like we did. I read the Psalms, David, and everything else, and I liked the traditions of Christianity. And we also use the Old Testament. We also use the New Testament. I did come to realize later in my life, after really studying it, that the New Testament was the fulfillment of the law by Christ was really very, very different than the attitude of Jewish supremacy that existed.
Yeah, he's saying they're all equal, and
he basically said yes, that again the golden rule must apply to everyone.
Yeah, everyone should be equal.
And the interesting thing is that the New Testament, as Shmuley Boteach, it's the same guy who has the dildo store, rabbi with the dildo store, and that's another good example. I mean, I say good things about Jews who do good. And there are Jews definitely fighting against Zionism.
Yeah, exactly.
But the Jewish power structure, the Jewish elite, this billionaire elite, they do dominate political funding and money. That's shocking. And it goes way beyond AIPAC.
AIPAC's the obvious one, easy to follow, but exactly, it goes way beyond that. Like
way
the top
beyond
donors
that.
are way more money than AIPAC.
For instance, in 2010, we had the Citizens United bill, which made it possible for anybody to give unlimited money, bribery, to any candidate that they wanted. And so they don't need AIPAC. What AIPAC does is they keep a list of the billionaire Jewish Zionists, and they can just get on the phone. That doesn't cost anything to raise
gave
money.
Trump $100 million. She was an IDF agent, and sure enough, look at Trump's cabinet picture.
Yeah, well, the three biggest contributors of Donald Trump are Marion and Sheldon Adelson. Sheldon's now dead, but then Marcus, Home Depot, and others, but on the Democratic side, it's even more so. Hillary Clinton, I have a chart there on your.
We
paper.
can look through these towards the end.
That of the biggest 20 contributors to Hillary Clinton, and this is from the top.
I think I have this chart right here.
The top down. We could even.
I think you have that right here. So
you can show it here.
I don't know if
this is compiled by open.
Maybe I'll edit on the thing. It's the top. Yeah, it's the top 20 donors, and 18 of the top 20 are all Jewish Zionists. And by it's pretty wild.
And this is like millions and millions of dollars, and
a small percentage of the country, but
2%. It's just shocking, really.
Yeah.
And then you look at Joe Biden. 8 or 9 of the biggest. I go to the Jewish Insider and the Business Insider. In fact, says that Joe Biden 7 or 8 of the biggest contributors. We had the biggest political fundraising event in the history of America the other day with Kamala Harris got into the race in Hollywood. It was overwhelmingly Jewish, right? And it was the biggest political funding. Millions, tens of millions of dollars were raised in this one event in Hollywood by the same Jewish Zionist majority.
So they basically bought both sides.
Well, they did, and that's a shame because and I tell you something. I just want to make something clear. You know, obviously, the way sometimes I think I have to add a different title in my birth certificate because every time they mention me, it's KKK. Now,
that was something I was actually planning on getting back to, the KKK thing. But let me start real quick with this because that was something that was very concerning to me. And then I did a little research on it, and it's still a little concerning. But you left the KKK because you always preached nonviolence. You made it very clear you didn't hate black people. Because
none of my members in my group ever committed a violent act. And you see this movie, Black KKK Klansman, which was really a Jewish production, by the way. They used Spike Lee, but you know, it was written a screenplay by Wachtell and Rabinowitz, right? And he got an Academy Award for it. And the interesting thing is that the movie itself shows that the movie and the book it was based on, it was written by Ron Stallworth, who was a black police officer in Colorado Springs, where we had a group there. And these groups, by the way, were officers and non-coms who were in Americans' NORAD defense system. These were top people. They had pure security clearances. They had no criminal evidence of anything. But the whole thing of the movie was there was supposed to be a plot by the KKK, and they said I was head of the KKK. Then I was head of the group.
That chapter,
to kill a black
nonviolence,
to kill a black civil rights leader, this nice woman. But in the actual book by Stallworth, which is the true story supposedly, that is the movie's based on, there was never any attempt to kill any black leader. Yeah. There was never any bomb that went off. The infiltrator into the Klan was not a Jew who faced Jewish persecutions, right? These were Jewish scriptwriters making Jews the heroes to basically tell black people that you got to support Jews because, see, the Jews are against the
push and divide again.
Whatever. But the whole movie was based on lies. And the interesting thing is, if you actually read the book, and you can find the book, it's called Black KKK Klansman. The whole book, in fact, the book in there, the guy actually, he didn't really infiltrate the Klan. It was a white police officer, not Jewish, by the way. And again, there was no bomb in the book. There was no arrests in the book. In fact, the whole investigation was dropped because the worst thing they could find these Klansmen doing was bringing Christmas baskets and Thanksgiving baskets to poor white people.
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, it's crazy. So this whole movie was just a complete and total lie. And people say, well, why don't you sue? If you're a public figure in America, unless you don't...
Yeah, you can't really sue for defamation.
You have no chance.
I want to add something really interesting is, I was asking my friends about you, and some weren't saying bad things. They were saying, don't bring you on. But then I called my black nationalist friends. I expected to be like, oh, don't bring that racist on. And he got really excited and wanted to meet you. He's like, I love Dr. David Duke. He's like, I look up, that just completely threw me off. He's like a guy I look up to. He wanted to even come and meet you, but he couldn't make the vacation. He's like, when's he coming out? I want to meet him. I was just like, huh? The black nationalist likes your work.
Yeah, even in my Klan days, I actually
just like what do you address that to? That really confused me
because I think, look, when I grew up, I became very, very concerned about the heritage of my European American ancestry. I loved my people, our heritage, our traditions, our values, everything that I loved about this great. We created a great country, a great constitution. The Declaration of Independence is a great document, right? Yeah.